All right, Benefits Patrick here with WHYY News. Tell us, here you are you still Mayor Steve Benjamin, or is it because you're a former mayor, because you're not in Columbia, you're obviously working in the White House, but I wondered about the title.
I think once a mayor, always a mayor.
Okay.
So it seems to follow you wherever you go. So I'll take it. It's as a badge of honor.
Absolutely. I saw you at the Senate Day. I was covering that event. We're very appreciative. We appreciate Kennedy for bringing us down there to cover that. That was a historical event there with Kamala Harris coming out, the VP, and speaking to the crowd. It seems like the White House is doing a lot to bring awareness for Black History Month. And now we're talking about the digital divide, which in Philadelphia, where the population is, majority African American and about 40%. And a lot of the people do live in poverty, and a lot of people could use that connectivity, especially when it comes to the digital age. Why was it important for you to come to Philadelphia, and what was it like talking to the mayor about that funding that is now coming to the state of Pennsylvania?
Well, the mayor, first of all, is a dynamo. Mayor Parker is just really fantastic. Fantastic. She really gets it. The president made a commitment very early on. I remember taking office at the height of the pandemic. Inflation was at historic highs, 9.1%, now it's down at 3.1%. Our supply chains were snarled because of the pandemic. People couldn't get access to things that they needed. And it was very clear that what most of us took for granted pre-pandemic realized that digital infrastructure, access to the internet, was now 21st century infrastructure. We all had to have it, if it's for kids to go to school, or for parents to find new jobs, or for people to start new businesses, or even for people to access healthcare. And he embarked upon a very ambitious plan through the American Rescue Plan and all the other key cornerstone pieces of legislation, the infrastructure bill, the CHIPS bill, and the Inflation Reduction Act, and making sure that hardworking everyday Americans had access, full access to the internet, which meant hundreds of billions of dollars going to build out fiber and infrastructure in urban, suburban, and rural America. It meant starting the Affordable Connectivity Plan, which has led to 23 million Americans, almost 800,000 of them right here in Pennsylvania, having reduced access to the internet, people taking advantage of this. And then now, of course, making it clear that still a significant number of households don't have access to full-size devices. It's very difficult to write a paper for school or to apply for a job with a handheld phone. So making sure that tablets and laptops are available to families is the other part of the puzzle. Making sure we have infrastructure literally all across this country, making sure that people have access and affordable access to the internet, but also now today talking about this $20 million gift to the state that allows people working with libraries, working with workforce development centers, working with parks and rec centers to get to full-size devices and have access to them to make sure they can live up to their God-given potential in the economy. The president's dedicated to building from the middle out and bottom up.
A lot of people in rural areas and parts of Pennsylvania, and then you also have some people in the urban areas too that don't have that access to those laptops to apply for jobs or computers to keep up with studying and reading, as you mentioned, with school. I always think of the digital divide as an economic divide. How does this help bring people out of poverty, and how does this help level the playing field, especially even from a racial perspective? You look at the amount of people who usually are impacted are usually African American or some of our other groups, minority groups that don't have the utensils for technology.
Well, on the very first day of the administration, literally the first day the president signed his first executive order, it was focused on equity and just making sure that people understood that he and the vice president knew that ability did not know zip codes. That we have gifted and talented strivers of every stripe and every single zip code in this country, but it's access to opportunity that makes the difference. So if in fact you give people good, hard-paying, good jobs that pay them a fair wage for what they work, and then access, a ladder to opportunity, give people access to high-quality education, make record investments in education, you lower costs for hardworking Americans, whether it's $35 insulin for diabetics or the other 10 drugs that Medicare just started negotiating the prices down and the people need to stay alive, or fighting against, junk fees, lowering NSF fees at at your bank, or even ticket concert fees, or blowing the precipitous weight that student loans have on families every single day, to the tune now of over $136 billion. He's focused every day on making sure that each and every one of us who has ability, God-given ability to go and do great things, that we have access to that ladder of opportunity. And that's what this is about. It's recognizing that we all have amazing talents and gifts, but all of us don't start on third base. That some of us are starting in the dugout, maybe even not in the stadium. So we have to make sure that everyone has access to 21st century infrastructure. And this announcement today is about that. So if you're walking into the MLK Recreation Center, where I am right now in North Philly, or anywhere else in suburban or rural Pennsylvania, you realize that your president's making the investment, working closely with Governor Shapiro and his team, on down to Mayor Parker and her amazing team. We're working every single day to make sure every single hardworking American has access to these resources.
Can you tell me how much money is going to go to Philadelphia, and will the school district of Philadelphia, Cover Education, be able to access that funding soon to use for buying laptops for their schools? Can you explain how that works?
That's an interesting thing about this. Obviously, I work with what they call civil society. So you think about all the other places that make up the fabric of where we live, our parks and rec centers, our libraries, our workforce centers. People go to find jobs, even in this economy where unemployment has been under 4% for 24 months straight. These resources are designed to go there. So working closely with the people on the ground here in Philly and other communities around the state, that's going to be a decision for the governor and his broadband team and others to work with to see where the resources go.
Amanda, I think we have time for one more question.
Okay, and where is the money coming from? Can you explain? I know it's like a capital. Can you explain the capital fund to our listeners? Like, where is the money coming from, and anything else you want to say about the importance of this?
Well, everything comes from the Treasury. So the resources are coming through the American Rescue Plan, the Department of Treasury fund today. We had some of their team members here from Secretary Yellen's office also helping with the announcement today.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, just thank you for helping us get the word out. It's so important. And I do also obviously want to shout out our senators, Casey and Fetterman, and certainly Congressman Evans. It's important that it was great to have the congressman here with us here today. But almost every piece of these signature pieces of legislation were passed in a bipartisan manner. But a whole lot of them weren't. And sometimes you have folks who show up at the ribbon cutting or announcement who didn't support the policy and continue to not support the policy. So having folks like the congressman here today in support was very important to also give him credit in his flowers too.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing the information about this new collaboration and information. Definitely get it out to our listeners. Thank you.
You take care. All right.
You too.
Nice to continue. All right. Bye-bye.